Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you back to another exciting episode of the Paul Brown Show. Returning on my show, I have Miss Desiree Helms. How you doing there, Miss Helms?
Doing just fine. How are you?
Great. Thanks for coming back on the show. I know you were on a guest previously, and we talked a lot about yourself. Let's go back and let's tell our audience a little bit about the previous show and what we discussed as far as yourself.
Okay, in the previous show, we explained about how I ended up homeless and sleeping on a bench with the other homeless women, and it was due to a relationship issue with the father of my son, who had me arrested for a child abuse charge, and how it was at that particular moment in time that I submitted evidence to the officer of the abuse that was going on there. And it was withheld from the assistant DA, and at the time of my arrest there was no warrant. I did not get read my rights, and I was pushed into jail, and while I was there I was told to take the plea for assault on a child under 12, or I was going to go to prison for 8 years, even if it was just a misdemeanor. So I took the plea for assault on a child under 12 because I understood that 30 days after I got out of jail, I could file a motion for appropriate relief, and that's what I intended on doing. But things didn't go as I planned, and so I ended up homeless. But while I was homeless, I began to start a nonprofit organization for homeless women like myself.
Okay. I know you stated earlier about the evidence that was withheld. What type of evidence was it, and why do you feel like they would withhold information in your case?
I can only tell you my eyewitness account, and my girlfriend Donna told me that Kevin told her that it was going to happen in just a few days. So apparently there was some political strings being pulled at the time, and I didn't know what they were. I just knew that me and her put together, because she's educated, she's got a degree in psychology. We put together a letter of eyewitness account which expressed how I felt, what the relationship was, and it gave an eyewitness account of Kevin's behavior that caused me to be in fear for my life. And she signed it and I signed it, and it was a notary that signed it. So it was a legal document. One was submitted, a fax to Peter McNeil, the supervisor of the DSS caseworker. The other was sent to him certified mail, and I had proof that he had gotten it. And the other, a notary copy, was given to the Mint Hill police officer, and the Mint Hill police officer informed me that he got it. Okay, but at the time of my arrest, I was in the house, and there was the officers just showed up and said, "We've been given orders to arrest you." And the officers themselves says, "We don't know what the arrest is for. We just know that we have to pick you up and take you to jail." That's what they said. And
political corruption, you stated. Now, who do you feel politically would possibly involved in this case, and why? What reason would you give?
The only thing that I can tell you is that I have been informed that he has family members in political positions. I don't know what they are at this point. During the due course of an investigation, I'm sure it will be revealed, but I've been informed that he's got a relative with the sheriff department. He's got a relative locally, and I don't know who they are. And the only thing that I can tell you is my eyewitness account of what happened, which is the opposite of what happened in the 2007 case. Okay. Before all this political push was put into play. And I wasn't smart enough to figure out what was going on. She was, Donna, because she's got a college degree, and she could see things that were happening that I didn't see. And it was because of her that I'm actually alive. If she hadn't come and told me that she was afraid of him, I would have never known about this dark side that she suspected. And so and every person that I talk to, even the girls that are homeless and on the street, tell you that's not a proper way for an arrest to take place, because they've all been arrested on drug-related charges, and that's not how it's supposed to take place. You're not supposed to just, an officer's not supposed to just show up and say, we got orders to arrest you, and they don't even know what you're being arrested for. It's not right. So they're the ones that's telling me these things, because I don't know anything about it. And so and the girls, the homeless women, are the ones telling me, I've got drug problems and stuff, and every time I've been arrested, this is how it's supposed to take place, And I said, well, I don't know anything about that, because I have never been arrested before. And so, from the very beginning, there was always things not right, and it could never be corrected, and until I began to take classes at Urban League and began to be educated a little bit.
Now, I know you stated as far as it's your word against your husband, boyfriend, as far as the child and the situation. But why did they accept his over your?
I don't know. I can't answer that. The only thing that I can tell you is that my evidence is available. I have a friend of mine who has a degree in psychology, and my elected official has also looked at it, and the Peter McNeil documents indicate that the father of my son is a possible pedophile and a sociopath. And she said if any district attorney or any legal person, a judge or anybody, a prosecutor, got a hold of that and actually read that document, they're supposed to have an education in these things, and they would see that, or they're supposed to, and I don't know why they're not investigating. All I can tell you is that they're just choosing not to do it, and I can't tell you why, and so.
With the attorney that you had, you said you had a public defender.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there like programs out there to assist women in cases like this?
Yeah, but for some reason I keep getting blocked from them. When it comes to Desiree Helms, it's like my name is known, and I've never met these people before. And when I try to approach them programs, I get an opposite reaction when it comes to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm being treated differently than the other women are, and I can't explain that either, And the only thing that I can tell you is that I can't tap into those resources for whatever reason, because the door's just closed and they're just saying no to me. And the only resource that I have available to me is the one that's been given to me by Urban League of the Central Carolinas, and it was through their educational opportunities that I began to understand the meaning of the word federal case.
Okay.
So.
Okay. With the situation that you're having now, they charge you, you said you pleaded. What did you plead guilty to?
Assault on a child under 12, and it's a misdemeanor offense. However, the charge of first-degree sex offense on a child under 12 is still listed, even though it was dismissed. It doesn't matter that it was dismissed. I was still exited from the shelter and told that I couldn't come back. I was still exited from the battered women's shelter, and I was told I couldn't come back, and I don't know why. I talked to the other girls who's been in the same situation with me, because I made these people aware of this when I first stepped in there, and I showed them to them, and I showed where it was dismissed, and I told them it was in retribution of my attempt to flee. And when I first stepped into the program, I got a positive response. Towards the end of the 30 days, I got a negative response. So I don't know what took place.
Okay, Desiree, we're going to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back on the Paul Brown Show. Thank you. Yes, we're back on the Paul Brown Show. My guest, Desiree Helms. Ms. Helms, tell us a little about what's going on now. You have a nonprofit organization that you're working on. Tell us a little bit about that and what's going on.
Okay, well, there is the Desert Rose and Sun Foundation currently on Facebook, and I'm in the process of forming an up-and-coming ministry for single homeless women. You go to Facebook, Desert Rose and Son Foundation, and the webpage will come up. And it's a greater beginning for single homeless women of Charlotte. That's my goal.
Okay.
And so if anybody wants to go to that webpage, I'm currently working on an article called The Victim in the Timothy Stephen Belcher Case that I plan on uploading and putting on the homepage to create the blog to discuss the topic. And that's the single homeless women being out there with stories like mine. And so we've got a gift shop that we're putting together with my emblem on it to sell to people who go there to raise funds.
Okay.
And so that's what we're working on right now.
Well, thank you for Ms. Helms for coming on the show, and I look forward to having you come back on the show and talking some more about how your organization is coming along and what we can do to make this a better situation, not only for yourself but the women that's out there.
Okay.
Thank you for watching the show, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back because we'll be discussing some more situations with another guest. Be right back. Thank you. Yes, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming back on the show. Now I have on my show Mr. Delton Adams. He's a author. Maybe you can tell us a lot more about what you do, Mr. Adams.
Well, I'd like to thank you first of all for interviewing me on your show a year before my book was even published.
Correct.
So, thanks to you and the Paul Brown Show for supporting me and encouraging me every step of the way. And fast forward to now, I'm an international motivational speaker.
Okay.
Lived half of last year in Europe. My book went international. And currently we are filming a movie short based on my autobiography that is going to be presented to Lee Daniels and Oprah Winfrey to negotiate a Hollywood movie deal. And I'd like to give you an autographed copy of my book.
Thank you.
Just can't thank you enough for your support.
Oh, no. I mean, this is what we do on the Paul Brown Show. What we do is we love up-and-coming authors. We have singers. We have, just let them able to get out there and show their face to the community and all that because we want to be uplifting to that individual. So I know we're supposed to show a clip, but I'm not sure whether she's ready or not.
Yeah, we have a clip of one of the scenes. Let me just set the scenario for this clip. This is what has never been seen in the movie Roots, 12 Years of Slave, none of our history books. Nobody has ever really told the truth about what went on during slavery, that not only were our women being raped by the slave masters, but also the men. My book and my life story is very controversial, so then I'm keeping it real. And this clip you're about to see is me portraying my great-great-grandfather in the 1860s who was a slave, and he is getting ready to experience some punishment by his slave master for running away again.
Oh, okay. So when we're ready to watch the clip, just let me know.
Something like this as a consequence. I'm going to get your ass in the wrong.
Please, Master, I'm sorry. Please, Master.
Be free, Master, I'm sorry. What you gonna do to me?
Nigga, I told you about trying to run away. Now get in this damn barn.